Hey, so the next video that I'm doing right now is how to be an ally to trans people. Um, okay, so I have a few different things I'm going to talk about, but first I want to start with what to do when someone comes out to you as trans, because when I've come out to people, they've had no idea what they're supposed to say, what they're not supposed to say, and that's totally okay. Um, society doesn't teach us that, so it's okay not to know. That's why I am telling you right now. Okay, so if I say, hey, friend, I want to let you know that I'm trans, so I feel like I am male, then what would you say to that? So think for a moment. Okay. So most people respond to that, and it's totally okay if you did, by saying, so are you having the surgery? Which is problematic for so many different reasons. First of all, the surgery is not a thing. There are many different surgeries that trans people can get and may choose to get. If you're referring to sex reassignment surgery, which can also be called sex affirmation surgery, or basically bottom surgery, then I would like to respond right now by saying, cool, then we'll talk about your genitals after we talk about mine. Just so you can think about that for a second, because basically when you ask someone that, you're asking them about their genitals, and people don't realize that, but that's what's happening, and that's really not cool. I definitely made the same mistake before I knew about this, so don't feel bad, but it's something good to know for any future encounters with people, that asking about someone's genitals, you wouldn't do that to someone who wasn't trans, so don't do it to someone who is trans. Basically, that is not something you should ask at all, unless you're about to have sex with the person or something. It'd be good to know what's down there. Cool. Okay. So what you should respond to someone coming out to you as trans is, I thought about a few responses you can make, such as thanks for telling me, I'm glad you are able to confide that in me. And the first two things is, if the person doesn't tell you, to ask what name and pronouns they want to go by. So for me personally, I usually say, hey, I want you to know I'm trans, and I go by Max, and he, him, his pronouns. A lot of people might be too nervous to say that, might just kind of leave it out. So that would be a good thing to ask, hey, what name and pronouns do you want me to use from now on? What else? Okay. Sorry. It's 2 a.m. and I'm paranoid that someone's gonna walk in. Cool. Okay. Okay, and then I'm also including do's and don'ts to being a good ally to trans people. Okay, so for do's, I have use correct name and pronouns. When you mess up, which obviously happens, it's okay, just apologize once and move on, or just quickly correct yourself and move on. It's really difficult, for me personally, when people keep focusing on it, or keep bringing it up, again and again, let's move past it, you apologize, it's okay. Okay, I have a lot of don'ts. Like I said, don't ask someone if they had the surgery. Don't ask how someone has sex. Just the same way, you shouldn't ask a gay or lesbian or bisexual person how they have sex. You can ask that if you want to date me, or if you want to have sex with a trans person, and you're really, at that stage, yeah, you should maybe ask. But, if you meet me, you shouldn't be hey, how do you have sex? No. don't use old name and old pronouns. That can be difficult for people, like when referring to the individual before they start transitioning, such as if you were talking about me in high school. That can get tricky because back then I did not go by Max. So for things like that, you should still use the correct name and pronouns that the person goes by now. But that is something you can discuss more with that individual. Also, don't fetishize trans people. In case you don't know exactly what that means, don't be like, I am attracted to trans people. Like, hold up, what do you mean by that? Because trans is not a third gender. It's not like male or female or trans. Like, trans people just want to fit in, usually, with the gender that they identify as. So I don't want to be a transgender. Also, a transgender is not a thing. Okay, I'll come back to that. But, like, I'm male, and I have no idea what I was talking about. Oh, yeah. So, like, don't say, like, you're attracted to me because I'm trans. Like, say you're attracted to me because I'm male. Basically. Also, like, FTMs are male and MTFs are female, so, like, you can't say, or you should not say you like girls and FTMs, for example. FTMs, like, I have a vagina, but I am not a girl, and you can't categorize me with a girl because I'm a guy. So, yeah. Okay. Okay, then, people ask me general things like, how do I learn more, and how can I be a better ally? You can ask me questions, and I can make more videos like this if this is helpful. Google. Google. It helps. You can Google all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of great websites. You can just say, like, Transgender 101 or transgender terms. There are just so many terms and so much that you can learn about. Also, you can ask me questions. Basically, I say I'm happy to answer anything that is asked respectfully and is not too personal. If you are one of my, like, best friends, and you feel that there's something you can ask me, it's probably okay, go ahead. If we're not super close and you're really curious about something, and you really want to ask, and if you decide to go ahead and ask, I'd prefer you to be like, hey, I know this might be a difficult question for you. I'm going to ask, but you don't have to answer it. Something like that would be appreciated. Just so you're acknowledging that it's, like, a difficult question, not just like, well, my favorite colors. Then also, some things should not be discussed unless I or the trans people bring them up. And along that line, you shouldn't use certain terms or labels that we usually use for body parts for trans people, unless, like, that person is using that. Okay, so I'm gonna just refer to myself from my personal experience for now. So, like, when talking about my chest, like, kind of like whatever words I'm using at the time, you can, like, use those as well. Usually I just call it, like, my chest or, like, my chesticles if I'm talking about, like, yes. If I use, like, more, like, female terms, like, right then, you can probably use them, but, like, don't be like, hey, so, like, your boobs, like, that's not cool. Also, don't be like, so you're, like, you're gonna be a guy still with a vagina. That word is triggering. That word is very triggering. I'm aware I have a vagina. You're aware I have a vagina. We don't need to discuss it. No. If you are dating someone who is trans, like, you should have a talk with them about what they want to call certain things in the bedroom. Alright. And then also things should not be discussed unless I bring them up, I guess. And unless you're like my best friend or something. I guess that would be stuff such as surgery and like what plans I have for surgeries. That's not something I'm about to say right now. It doesn't really matter right now to you. It does not affect your life right this moment. Yes. Okay. So feel free to ask me more questions. Ask me to make another video to point you in the direction of other videos, other information. There are a lot of videos on YouTube also of everyone's transitions and stuff. This is getting long. Okay, love y'all.